Welcome to the Scale Model Podcast. In this podcast, we aim to entertain, inform, and promote the hobby of scale model kit building with interviews, reviews, and news about the hobby. The podcast is available bi-weekly where your favorite podcasts are found, including iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also get it from our website at scalemodelpodcast.com, where you can find show notes, photo gallery, and so much more. You can also subscribe to get notifications on all our updates, new episodes, and video content. Please support the Scale Model Podcast on Patreon. Patreon supporters enjoy early access to content and exclusive contests. Your Patreon support helps us to offset hosting and other costs to bring the podcast to you. Welcome to episode 106 of the Scale Model Podcast, sponsored by Cult TV Man, Sean's Custom Model Tools, and Return to Kit Form. My name is Stuart Clark, and I'm here with our normal cast of characters, and one at these days, we're going to call him a semi-regular guest from east of Ontario. I'm even going to introduce him first. Mr. Model Airplane Maker Chris Wallace, how are you, sir?
Stu Clark, I am good. Thank you very much for having me back on the show.
Oh, we love having you on. You know, we had lots of fan mail when you were on, and we basically kidnapped you at HeritageCon to step into the chair there. So it was good. Also from just on the north shore of Lake Erie, where the wind howls, I don't think all those leaves are still raked up. Mr. Jeff Highland, how are you, sir?
No, they are not raked up, and I don't give a damn anymore. I couldn't care less.
That's because you've been sick as a dog. So, but you're feeling better.
I haven't been sick as a dog, and that's sort of a bad thing about dogs. I've been ill, but
Right.
The COVID disappeared, and now I just have the leftover cough, which might show up every now and again if one of you makes me laugh. So, so it's going to be. I know Chris would prefer it not to be, but this is going to be a very, very serious podcast.
Well, just get some modeling fluid in hand to help you do that. And also from west of Chicagoland, where a lot of sci-fi modelers reside and other such related things, it's Mr. Terry Measley. How are you, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Yeah, lots of goodies. I just want to thank all our Patreon supporters as always. You really help make the show go forward. Patreon.com/Scale Model Podcast. Occasionally we give you some advanced video sneak peeks, news, reviews, stuff like that. But mostly it's the funding that helps keep the show going. Alrighty, some latest news. Well, let's start with the thing everyone, the large whale in the room, shall we say? I think I can blame Terry for this because Chris, you started a Let's Get Pacific group build, and Terry mentioned it, and then I did a smart ass response, and somehow I got suckered in. So let's talk about, you are hosting a Let's Get Pacific group build, aren't you?
I am. This is over on the Model Airplane Makers group build site. We set up a small sub forum to have everyone participate in the first group build, and I'm really looking forward to it. So details starts December 1, 2022. It ends May 30th. Any aircraft of any nation that fought in the Pacific Theater from 1941 to 1945. It's open to everyone who wants to participate. So if you'd be kind enough to throw a link in the show notes, that would be great. Bet.
There's a link already there, my friend.
Perfect. And I got some help to help me pull this off from the indescribable Jim Bates at a Scale Canadian TV.
We know that character. We know that shady character, yes.
He's going to help me with the admin side, and we've been working on some sponsors, and I am happy to tell you that we both have found 3. I can't give full details yet, except I know that my local hobby shop, the Hobby Center, is going to be throwing some sponsorship prizes in, and I just found out today. Now, I know of the extreme rivalry that you have with that Plastic Model Mojo podcast down in Kentucky.
Those bourbon sipping guys, yes.
Yes, and I know that some stern words were exchanged at the end of last year's Moosearoo, but their show sponsor, Model Paint Solutions, is going to be sponsoring us. So I hope that doesn't change our relationship at all, gentlemen, but they're in. They're going to be in with something. I don't know what it is yet. but I will know closer to December 1st to release everything. And so last thing I'll just say is this is not about a contest at all. I really want everyone across the board to be participating. I'd like vets to do it. I'd like newbies to do it. I want everyone to come in, have a great time, build and complete some models. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Very cool. Well, it should be noted, I don't normally do a lot of group builds, but I'm really looking forward to this because it's a chance for me to get back into a Pacific Theater World War II aircraft space again. I'll talk a little bit later what I'm planning to do for the group build, but I'm really looking forward to getting back involved. And so I know Terry's going to be involved. Jeff?
What about Jeff? Jeff, yes.
I may well indeed get involved. The one thing about this one that I like, I mean, a number of guys from our club have been involved lately in like bonsai builds, basically weekend builds, or the recent Thanksgiving turkey shoot build that was going on. And I'm really not that up for 24-hour or 48-hour builds.
Right.
But so this time frame, Chris, is appealing to me. And the nice thing about it too, to your point about, building and finishing a kit, the deadline I find actually does lead you in that direction. I tend to sort of lose track and gain interest in some other project halfway through, and then it sort of sits on the shelf for a little while, maybe forever. So this actually having an end date might make me actually finish it.
Awesome. Deadlines always help.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hey,
so yes, sir.
Are you? I mean, just a question. But are you videotaping this episode?
I'm going to videotape it, but we're only going to do some, bits and pieces we might release during the week, and that's what else I was going to mention. Yeah, we're doing some video content. I'm just recording the video for now, but yeah, we might use some short bits, just for promos and things like that. Moving forward, that's what we want to maybe do with the podcast. YouTube's becoming a really big platform these days, and again, if it can reduce our reliance on Facebook, it's something I'm thinking about. So, if you're actually in the witness protection program, any of you better let me know now so I can X out your face.
So I was going to try and figure out some kind of technology to superimpose George Clooney's face over mine and just pretend that's the way it is.
All right.
Just be entertaining, Jeff. Just be entertaining.
Like I said, at least the rest of your rooms look a heck of a lot neater than mine. That's why I've got the Scale Model Podcast banner on the green screen behind me.
The nice thing about webcams is they have not a very wide field of vision.
Yes, thank God. And I've got a large enough green screen. Exactly. No,
well, I can put that up too.
Yeah, but no, yours looks good too. So one question I do have to ask, because I'm not surprised it came up. I saw someone posted, Chris, I'm going to do a VF-84 F-14 because just before December 6th, it was in combat against two Japanese Zeros. We've seen it on film. Are we actually going to allow that?
Well, I know that particular character very well, and that was all done tongue in cheek, as are most of his quips on Facebook. So no, there will be no F-14s. Although maybe someday, but not this particular group.
I just thought that was amusing. I had to admit, I was waiting for it. So there we go. No F. So Jeff, you can't build an F-14. Yes, Terry.
So, Chris, is this all organized on the Facebook group, or are there ways for people to participate who are staying away from the Zucker world?
For now, because this is our first one, that's a very good question. Because this is our first attempt at this, we're going to keep it on Facebook just to see where this goes. And quite honestly, I had no expectations for it. But so far, we've got 50 people that are signed up for it. So this has way exceeded my expectations already, and we'll see where it goes. But I understand the question, Terry, and maybe the next time around we'll do something a little different for sure.
Okay.
I can certainly see that because, again, as we talk about, I'm trying to get some of the podcast away from it. Maybe we can talk to one of our good friends who runs a forum, something like that. Maybe Brett down at Hyperscale or something like that. Because they do have group builds in various forums on some of the popular forum sites, and I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So next time maybe, it's 3 months, so maybe there's
50 people. That's absolutely awesome. That's going to be fun. So there you go. All right. So start thinking about it. The link is in the show notes. You can start December 1st.
That due date is
May 30th, 2023.
Tons of time.
So more than 3 months.
Yes, you got 6 months to complete at least one. And you'll be eligible for some sponsored prizes. Come on, everyone.
There you
go. So what are you going to work on, Stu? What you going to make?
I've got a 148 scale Tamiya bow fighter, and thanks to my buddy Mike Hill from the club, he provided me with some RAAF decals. Nice. I've thrown a couple of pictures up. I got this out of I picked this up from Dave from Hornet Hobbies years ago when he was selling off some of his stash a couple of Heritage Cons ago, and it's one of these white boxes. So it came with the bow fighter, and it came with a 148 scale Tamiya Bren gun carrier. So I actually gave the gun carrier to our buddy in the club, Frank, and he just finished it as one of the things for his Blitz build. So, and because I knew he'd build it up well, and I wasn't interested. So yeah, looking for it. It's been about a year and a half since I finished I think it was the Hasegawa Hawker Typhoon in 148, and that's the last 148 World War II build I've done, and I'm really looking forward to getting back to it. I got so much to build, and I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Now I can tell you that I've built the bow fighter, and you'll love the cockpit. You'll love the interior. It is really well done. The only issue is that once that is inside that plane and all closed up, you lose about 80%, which is really unfortunate because they did such a fantastic job rendering it. It's beautiful.
Oh, I know. I like that's why I say I really wish some of the companies would offer like a clear, like a clear quarter fuselage or a clear half fuselage. I mentioned it on the last podcast.
Yeah, I built one of those 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about the build, but I would have remembered if it was bad.
Yeah, no, it's, I built a 172nd Matchbox one when I was a kid. I haven't built a 48th one. I'm really looking for, like I said, I'm looking forward to getting into back into 48th builds. I've got a ton of 6 Spitfires, 2 Hurricanes to build. I'm waiting for the Arma Hurricane in 48 scale to come out. I really want to get my teeth into that. Right. Once they officially announce it, they keep delaying it. I have to email them again. I don't think the restraining order counts. So at least out of Europe. So I think I'll be fine.
Got anything sitting there, Jeff, for a Pacific build?
I'm just sitting here thinking that I'm going to have to do a little bit of research and find what would have to be the most obscure aircraft that flew in that theater at that time. I'm thinking, with any luck, there was a museum Fokker D7 that was sort of flown for one half mission and shot down by, or something like that. That's what I'll look for. Or maybe
keep in mind. Keep in mind, like someone's building, I think, a P-40 out of Alaska. As long as it touches the Pacific.
Yeah.
All scales. So all sorts of possibilities. Like I said, I wanted to build the bullfighter. I just didn't have the decals for it originally, but now I do. So there'll be now I'm researching some of the paint schemes because the Australian green and brown was slightly different than the standard British one, depending when the aircraft flew. Yeah, it's been quite interesting. Because like most of my standard colors, like I use either Tamiya or AK, there's not really a matching one without a lot of mixing. Now I can go with Vallejo, but I'm still doing some research. It's one of those things where it's like it can ignite a firestorm on the forums, but it really depends when the aircraft was delivered. Like certain ones before a certain time, they were the standard, RAF brown and green, and then a little bit later on they went to a slightly darker green. And of course, there's the debate about if it's sky or not. In the end, if I come close, that's fine. I'm not a rivet paint counter,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah. But it's going to be fun just to build something at a slightly larger scale, because I finished that 72nd scale Arma Hurricane in RAF, and it was a beautiful build, but is it tiny. Never mind about Kentucky Dave. Well, Kentucky Dave says 72nd's God's true scale. No, 48.
Don't talk to me about tiny. You didn't build a BD5J. I built one of those.
Well, that's your own fault.
It's an inch long. It's an inch long, and it's 170.
I know. And then you got your Felix Stowe to build, and
Ooh, that's
large aircraft. Maybe you can see if there you go. Maybe one of the museum Felix Stowes. Maybe one was in the Pacific. As you see, it flew on mission.
It's a secret mission. Very few people know.
Secret. Yeah, there you go. I like that.
A B-10. There's all kinds of stuff on those islands.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, lots of ideas.
Amelia Earhart, she showed up. That's it.
There you go. There goes the neighborhood. Okay. All right. Well, you make sure you sign up there, Jeff. We're looking forward to seeing what you have in mind. Okay. Next up, our good friend over in Machine Krieger Land. He has the gallery up with some of the winners from the Paint on Plastic competition. Just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Of course, we're talking Lincoln Wright. They had the thing with the sensei who trained him and a few other master judges. Just very, very cool. And some beautiful work there from the photo gallery. I continue just to be astounded by the quality of this stuff. Just absolutely, like some of the detailed wiring. I just had to point that out. The one I really love for the humor, for Natalie, for her full machine and breakfast.
I saw that.
Yeah, and that's not real food. I thought it was real food, but no, it's their models. It's models of the beans and eggs, and just very cool. But yeah, just some gorgeous stuff there. You'll see. Even the van was cool. Lots of stuff to check out. So make sure you check out that gallery when you have a few moments, because just gorgeous stuff. What more can we say there?
How come the pilots so often are young women just in their underwear? I don't understand that.
Well, it's a small cockpit, and it gets very hot, and the women are obviously better at gunnery and while piloting a mech.
Okay, that does make a lot of sense to me.
That's what all I can think of. I don't know.
The future of warfare is female. I like it.
Yeah, and again, you got to consider where they're being made. If you can have a show all about young high school girls piloting Tiger tanks and stuff like that, then with the appropriate model kits, then they can have this.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Anyone else, please feel free to speak up. All right. Another one in the category of this looks absolutely gorgeous, but I have nowhere to put it. Much like I said for my 48 scale Lancasters, and now there's two sitting behind me. Airfix's 124 Spitfire Mark 9 has officially been released. They invited quite a few YouTubers in that, over in the UK strictly, because I'm sure if it was over here, my invitation would have come in the mail, since I'm such a Airfix Spitfire fanboy. Right, for myself and Chris, I'm sure. They went behind the scenes. They got to see how the thing was put together, and they got a kit to take home, damn it. So both these links go to YouTube videos. One's a bit from Airfix. Their channel is actually a really good one to subscribe to, and their social media. They basically get it. They're posting a lot. They're releasing emails behind the scenes. They have a preview of the designer interview. The guy who designed it, but they show what's involved in packing it, producing it, all that. It's really kind of neat if you want to see kind of behind the scenes. So this kit is being produced, made, manufactured, packaged completely within the UK. So hopefully that'll solve some of the QC problems. This is their flagship kit. They're not, as we say, they're not pissing around.
I noticed that the bags of plastic nodules were from Korea. So.
Well, yeah, but it's being packaged in, it's being molded in the UK, and that seems to be the problem before with short shots and that. So, and so far people seem to be very favorable. You're always going to get the rivet counters out there, but a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous looking kit. I'm looking forward to when the local hobby shop gets one just to see it. And again, fairly fair value, some great schemes. Again, I just don't have room to put one in anywhere right now, sadly.
Well, you know what? If you can't do 124, you could always get the Kotari
32nd. Yes. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that. Yeah.
Mike and I both ordered one of those. Did you order one of those too? Didn't you, Jeff?
I have not yet. No.
I thought you did.
No, I didn't. I didn't correct you guys at the last show when you were talking about it.
Man, oh man.
I was sorely tempted to pick up one or two wingnut kits from the most recent sales
here, there, and everywhere. Yeah,
here, there, and everywhere. But to your point about what do you call it? The shipping from Andy's Hobbies to Canada. I had that experience myself in the past where they screw you over completely at the border.
If they go UPS from the States, you're screwed.
If they go UPS from the States.
Yeah, U.S. The only way U.S. Postal Service, but Andy won't do that. No. He won't do U.S. Postal Service. Sadly, your odds are better. That's why I've tended to lately in the last 10 years or so. I order from either the UK, Hannett's or a couple of sources, or out of Australia or Japan. I get it just as quick, and I don't usually get screwed.
Yeah, Australia's been fantastic. Australia's been great. Yeah.
Chris, how about you? What have your experiences been ordering from the States?
Mixed bag, but anything UPS I avoid just for that very same reason. And same with you in terms of ordering from other places. It's very strange, right? You can order it from Australia and Asia, wherever, not a problem. In fact, I ordered one last year, last spring, just before the invasion of the Ukraine. And that for some incredible reason got here, even though what had happened there had happened, and that got here in record time. I was fully prepared to have conceded that kit, that whatever, and it got here. I was quite amazed.
They strap it on the bottom of the Ukrainian MiG-29s, and away they go.
They're filling orders. I know plenty of people who are ordering directly from manufacturers in the Ukraine.
Right.
They're doing really well.
The Halberd model stuff I've ordered came directly.
Yeah. Ukraine model manufacturers. First of all, I'm astounded how many there are. There's a lot, and they're pretty good. But they have gone so much further up in my book just because of the way they've managed to persevere through this thing. Good for them. Kudos to them.
And again, there's been a lot of, the modeling communities kind of come together. We talked about Chris Medding's models for Ukraine Volume 2. You can still order that from inside the Armor Publications. So for those of you who haven't yet, definitely something to think in mind. Very cool stuff. So definitely worthy of it. Okay, moving on. Hey, the Space Art calendar's out.
Yeah, I thought I'd put this in here to remind people that Chris Dahl, who's been on the show with Space Art, he's doing a bit of a sale over the holiday, I guess, to move some stuff out of his house, and including the calendar. And it's this calendar's inexpensive, nice to have on the wall.
Yeah, and there's some beautiful artwork here as always.
Yeah, and it's for original artwork. Have a look through, find something you like. It's original artwork.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See the brush strokes.
Yes, it's all the happy little trees.
Happy little novas and happy little nebulae.
Happy little supernovas and all that. All right, let's move on. Latest hobby announcements, all sorts of goodies. We were talking pre-show about the rivet counting, and oh my goodness, this one attracted a lot. Revell out of Germany, they have announced a new tool, 1/32 scale Hurricane. This is the Mark IIB in 1/32 scale. This is showing some of the test shots and that. And from my understanding, the rivet counting was getting so extreme, even though they said this is just a test shot. This is a CAD test shot, not real. People were just, the normal thing. Someone posted this great thing. I'll have to find the link. They had a scale modeling forum bingo where you basically had, oh, it's too expensive. Why not this? Why? And you could basically go into a forum and cross off your bingo, your bingo sheet. Now, unfortunately, I didn't put it in the show notes, but the designer of this is someone who's well regarded. He's done some other work, and he actually went on a forum and kind of corrected some of these. And, I love it because one of the UK podcasters, might have been Drew, mentioned in a post, he said, yeah, it's amazing how all the forums went suddenly quiet when the guy who designed it's kind of corrected the ball on some of this stuff. Yeah, just, yeah, just hilarious. So, and you basically read you basically read some of the discussion here from the modeling news, and one of the things is people said, "Oh, it's only got 8, it's supposed to have 12." Well, the modeling news here said, due to a shortage, most of these aircraft carried only 8 guns, but 30-second scale. This looks awfully pretty. Again, I'm a big fan. RAF World War II fighters. I'm totally I love this stuff, and this looks nice. Like, I don't know if it's accurate or perfect, but it looks awfully pretty.
Yeah. I look forward to it. I mean, we should see some more of this scale.
Yep. Chris, go ahead.
About a year ago, I wrote a little piece on my blog about models that broke the internet. And
yes, thank you.
It happens every once in a while. I can remember the AMK F-14D, which, wow, that definitely broke the internets. And the Edward 109, their first attempt at it, and the Trumpeter Wildcat comes to mind. And I think there was the Dragon Mustang, which still gets people's blood pressure going. So every now and then for whatever reason, there's a new release. It's not every new release, but all of a sudden the hawks come down and the internets break. And it's quite, I think it's funny to see that people just go to this extent to complain or to whinge about it. But hey, it's entertaining for me.
You know what?
I know nothing about hurricanes, by the way. No,
I know, but I'm going to find that link because that room, as soon as you said that, I went, that's right. That's right. I remember you writing about that because we'll talk about you and your blog and that in a little bit. But yeah, that was an excellent point, and it's so true. It is. It's like, God, people, it's only a TV show. We used to say to the Star Trek fans, right? Stuff like that. But anyway, no. But it's what, good for them. There's obviously they perceive there's a market. Yeah, I love hurricanes. It looks gorgeous. And again, it was only a CAD rendering, 30 centimeters in length, 38 in width. And Revell Germany is not like your old Revell USA. They know what they're doing. So let's give them some time, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we were talking 148 because I gave Frank a Bren gun carrier. The modeling news talks about Tamiya's got a new feature in their 148, the new M8. This is the howitzer motor carriage. This was at their Japan Hobby Fair. There wasn't a lot of announcements out of this. So this was at the Tamiya Fair, a lot of RC stuff, but this was an announced item. So this is a new toolkit, M8 148 scale. It looks very nice for that scale. And they've been, they do gangbusters in their 148 scale armor. I know the guys that build it, they do highly respect the Tamiya stuff. Again, similar to the aircraft, shake and bake.
Yeah, so, it looks really good.
It does.
48 scale looks great.
Look at the mud. Like, I love looking at the pictures that they put on in action. Look at the mud on this one shot. That's amazing. Okinawa.
Yep.
Man, you can really screw up your tracks and completely nobody would know.
Well, that's what I've done. I've had to do that with at least 2 sets of tracks over the years. Oh, yeah, it's half sunk in the mud, so it doesn't show the broken track link or whatever.
Yeah, it's got a big tarp over the turret as well, so you could screw up your turret. I just love this kind of stuff.
Well, it's the same thing one does in aircraft. If you screw up the cockpit masking on the canopy, you just cover the damn thing with a tarp.
Yeah, you can put a tarp over it.
Throw a tarp on it.
Throw a tarp on. It's fine. It's weathered, whatever. All right. Some announcements from our friends at Trumpeter in January, a little bit of an early one. Let's see here. First off is the Mi-8MT Hip H in 1/48 scale. Russian attack/transport helicopter. That'll be a big size in that scale. It was a big helicopter. Yep. A bunch of different marking guides, lots of decals.
Very classic Soviet helicopter. I love it.
Full mast set for the windows, which is always nice. 14 sprues. Next up, we have the Russian 2S35 Kolatissa. I'm as bad with Russian names as Dave Goldfinch is with mailbox names. This is the 135th scale. This is an unmanned turret, 152 millimeter ordnance. So it's a self-propelled howitzer, but you basically, it just, you park it and it shoots.
I think it's
Did you call that Koalititsa?
Koala bear? Yeah, I did.
I think it's Koalitsaya.
All right. Well, see, I told you. This is why I have you to correct me.
Yamamoto.
Yamamoto. I know. See, we can't get away, and then we got to say Zeppelins later too. So at some point, we'll say Zeppelins. This is nice, and as I've said many times before, you could sci-fi this up. So that's nice.
This is a mean-looking machine.
It is.
I think I'd be nervous. I think I'd be nervous firing at 90 degrees from the center of the truck.
Well, it does have the little, arms that come out. That's the idea.
I'd still be a little nervous, I think.
Well, 152 millimeter bore.
Yeah.
That's a big.
Just make sure you got your earplugs, right?
Oh.
So, yeah, very nice. So yeah, that's what our friends at. Did I miss anything there? I think I got both of them. Yep, that's what they have there. Two very nice looking kits. Two completely different scales for people. Okay, another one which has been a little bit of a lightning rod. They did have it again at Tamiya Fair. Sprues colors test build with painting of the Tamiya's 48 scale F-35 Lightning A. Again, I have never read and heard so many differing opinions on RAM coatings in my life as I have for this thing. But again, not my aircraft, but it does look nice. Go ahead, Chris.
I really hope. Now, I don't know for sure, but is Tamiya announcing any sort of paint to go with this model, like that nice, beautiful gray metallic finish? Or because sometimes they do that, right? Sometimes they do.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet. Maybe they're waiting till after the new year for the next firestorm of controversy, right, from modelers. But all I remember is when I saw this, like the details of this, like inside the wheel bays, and it's beautiful molding. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And,
this is a kit for guys. This is a kit for people who love to paint, internals, because this is just beautiful.
Exactly. A lot of ordnance. 9 countries, including, I believe, was it Norway or Holland that has the drag chute fairing? It includes one for that. I think it's Norway. But yeah, absolutely like the one here with the weapons bay. Just as you say, Jeff, the internals are just gorgeous. People may bitch and complain about this, but this is nice. Yeah, here's the RAM applied to the entire fuselage. It looks very subtle. Looks like you could just use some enamel washes, and you get what you're looking for. So. Unpainted parts are shaded with black ink. So whoever built this did a nice job, and it's going to be fun. I'm sure there'll be aftermarket. People may, as I say, bitch and complain, but it looks nice. You can get it for $62 US at HobbyLink Japan. It'll be available December 17th. So
I love the canopy on this. This is one of those ones where, you really shouldn't have to complain about covering up all the details once you close it in. This is
and it comes with a good looking pilot too.
Yeah.
Well, and in that scale, and it comes with a pilot, which not everyone does these days. So keep that in mind, kids. Yeah, it'll be a nice kit. I'm sure we'll see it. I'm sure we'll see at least 1 or 2 on the tables at Heritage Con by the time that rolls around. Okay, next up is a 1972 from Mobius Ford F-250 Ranger 125th, and it has a snowplow. How wonderful for the winter season. They're calling this the Ford Pickup Series. New parts, again, the plow. This is an older mold that Mobius did back in 2015. But again, different stuff they've done over the years with it. So that'll be kind of neat. I just thought I'd include it for the car folks. I know a good friend of the show, Dave Blappy-Gurton's been building I think he's building a 150 from AMT. He's been building one. But, again, good for those Canadian winters. How soon before we see a 3D printed snowman and the father and the kid, like on the box art?
I'm thinking 3D printed, rusted out lower panels on the all.
There you go. There you go. Make it truly. And you have to get some 3D printed Tim's coffee is in the cabin and back in the bed, right?
Yeah, and 3D printed fuzzy dice to hang from the mirror.
There you go. See, Jeff's got it all together. There you go. You just got to work out a deal with Tim Hortons.
There you go.
There you go. You could be onto something there. All right. In the slightly more, under the interesting stuff, Welsh models do a lot of interesting stuff, a lot in resin and vac form. This is the REF 1/72nd scale wedge tail in REF service. So this is a Boeing, I think it's a 737, and they stick this great bloody radar antenna off on top of it. It's called the E7A. I know some people who would love to build this. It's going to be
this is a mix of the vac form fuselage, but the rest of it's resin.
Yeah.
Looks like.
Yeah, it's like an AWACS.
I'm going to have to buy something. Maybe that Spartan from these guys.
Oh yeah, they do a lot of good things. Well, I think we talked about them before. They're making the Val die bomber. And of course, Yep, that was them. Huh. And then of course I like what Aeroscale did a week ago. They had Welcome Back, Judy. Fine Molds is to re-release the 1/48 scale of the D4Y Comet Judy and a photo etch detail set. That's on their sidebar there. So again, lots of different things coming out from various manufacturers. Maybe that for the Pacific build. I'm just
Oh no, the Val is Infinity models.
Okay.
It's injection.
Oh, okay, a different Val then.
And speaking of, we don't have it in the notes, but we probably should add it. The Belcher Bits CL52 conversion set.
I was going to wind you about that up under things we've seen, but we can add that. No, you know what? We'll totally add that.
Yeah,
Belcher. All right. So next up, also a good possibility for the Pacific group build, our friends at Arma. How about it's almost like they knew you were going to do this group build, Chris, and they said, what can we do? Let's do the Cactus Air Force, an F4 Wildcat and a P-39D Air Cobra, both previous releases, but in one set. Like I said, I just finished the Hurricane. Obviously, Jeff's working on the Musaru Cup, and I've heard of the Mustang, but I've heard Arma makes some wonderful stuff. What's interesting? I just finished reading the biography about the, Admiral Yamamoto.
Yamamoto.
Did I get that one right this time?
No.
No. All right, a little bit of both.
Yamamoto.
Yes, Admiral Yamamoto and the guy.
Yamamoto.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't be winding you up, could I, Jeff? Anyway, the good admiral and the guy that was in charge of the P-38s that shot him down. I read a fascinating biography, and this particular pilot, whose name, of course, now escapes me, started by flying P-39s. At Guadalcanal. So it was quite fascinating to see this. So yeah, as we say, combined kit, markings for, 4 or 5 aircraft for Guadalcanal. It also includes some 3D printed detail sets. So like, again, set of Wildcat sprues, set of Air Cobra sprues, 8 marking options, 4 for each, painting masks, plus accessories for both aircraft. So again, if you're into that, you can't go wrong. These are beautiful games. And the 3D extras. Go ahead, Chris.
And you really should be into it because of all of the Airacobras, these are historically the coolest ones. If you read anything, in fact, I put a note down further in your notes. If you read about what those pilots were doing on Guadalcanal with these really hemmed back Airacobras. And they were flying literally 500 feet off the runway and having to strafe Japanese attacks and immediately having to come back to reload. And it's just incredible what these guys were able to do with a plane that doesn't get a whole lot of love out there. It really doesn't. This is the right marking for the right kit.
Yeah. And it was the right role for that sort of thing. They didn't have to fly high. There was no point in flying high.
Correct. Yeah.
So natural aspiration was just fine.
Yep.
And exactly. I've read some stuff on Guadalcanal as well, and those P-39 pilots practiced with that 37 millimeter gun shooting oil cans on the beaches. They got that gun down, and they essentially would not miss with it. So when the Japanese brought these troop barges through, they would plunk 3 or 4 holes in them and just watch them sink.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And Stuart, to answer your question, it was Rex Barber who shot down Admiral Yamamoto.
Right.
Although there was some controversy that it's some guy named Lanfear, but I don't agree with that story. I think it was
this
Barber.
This particular book I read dealt with the squadron commander, the leader. Kind of his backstory, kind of at the same time as the admiral. Of course, now I cannot remember the book for the life of me. I'm going to have to look it up again, and I'll remember it in about 5 minutes, and then I'll just come out and blurt it right out. It was a good little thing because a lot of people didn't realize the good admiral wasn't really a saint. He basically abandoned his wife for a mistress. But it was fascinating to kind of read, and again, the way they set it up was really good because they went, for a while out of Japan, then a while in America from this kid growing up in the South. Here we go. Dead Reckoning, story of how Johnny Mitchell and his fighter pilots.
Mitchell.
So
that's right.
Yeah, Johnny Mitchell. So it's by Dick Lear. A very good read. I really enjoyed it. Again, learned a lot of stuff I didn't know about the particular attack and about the Guadalcanal campaign. So yeah, very good book to read. So again, if you're thinking about doing the group build, this might be another good one to look at. And Arma, if you're listening, please don't delay the 48 scale Hurricane yet again. I'm really excited.
And if you like dirtying up your planes and heavily weathered aircraft, this is the one to do it too.
Yeah, just beautiful molding and all that. Okay, moving on. Model Monkey. They do all sorts of cool 3D printed stuff. I noticed this one because again, I was reading about bullfighters and that, and they had a bunch of they had some new arrivals, including a 1/32 scale bullfighter, the Thimble Radome. From that one, from the Night Fighter, as well as a bunch of 1/350th and 1/700 scale 3D printed accessories. Again, the only way I will build some of these 1/350th ships is if I can get accessories 3D printed, because I'm not folding a tiny piece of photo etch 28 times. Right. That's not fun. Yeah. Sorry, Ian, but photo etch is not my friend. But they've got a lot of neat things. Go ahead, sir.
Really take the time and look through. They've got it broken out by scale and everything.
Yeah.
Especially if you're some of these 48th and 32nd scale aircraft builders, they've got 3D printed gun sights that will make a huge difference. The stuff in the kits just isn't great, and that's very difficult to cast well at that. So at that kind of little tiny scale. So these are very interesting. Tip tanks and like we talked with Norris Grazer, who's also casting up some of these little unusual P-47 tanks. They've got some of these too. These ones that were like split apart with a seam welded down the center to extend them.
What's interesting? I was going through this, and on the first page it mentions 196 Musashi Shanimu Yamato rudders. 196.
You know what, Stuart? There were 3 ship names there, and you didn't get a single one right. That's impressive.
Big Japanese battleships, okay? How about that? 196. Yeah, so I looked it up. This is the fleet scale. They have a battleship, IJN 196 scale, 874 pounds.
I was going to say, like, I was looking at that and thinking, holy crap, like 196 Yamato would be huge.
Yeah, 108 inches by 16 inches.
Nuts.
Yeah, plans, main deck, after deck. Yeah, and then you can buy other fitting packs and all that. Like, holy cow! I'll add this later on.
That's practically a canoe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's, I'm sure you could RC it, right? I know.
Oh,
like, I looked at some of the pictures. I just did a Google search, and it's a couple of them. And needless to say, they're all being built in garages. I'm just, that's crazy.
That's like the guys who build the 1/72nd scale Enterprise aircraft carriers and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, no, as we were saying, they have some pretty cool stuff at Model Monkey. If you want to make things real pretty, this will probably, I've got a couple of 1/350th battleships in the stash I've acquired over the years. And like I said, this will be about the only way. I'll have to see, because I have a Fletcher destroyer too I want to build. And it came with a photo etch set. But again, I'd rather do some of this. So very cool stuff. All right. And then we have something I think which might be up Jeff's alley, because he likes.
Oh yeah.
I love kit, Pershing launcher and a gun truck. So the M1001 with the M9790 Erector launch trailer. So you get a bloody Pershing missile here, Jeff, with a truck.
Honestly, you had a good excuse here to screw up the reading, because they spelled launch wrong.
I know. But I adore
Lanucher. They spell it Lanucher.
I know.
How do you get Lanucher?
Who knows? In their excitement, But this looks nice.
Yeah, I was looking at this and thinking, wow, like the Pershing would not have been a fast setup and fire kind of rocket.
No. Fast enough, as long as return fire doesn't arrive before it's gone.
I mean, the nose cone's not even attached. You'd have to put the thing together before you could even erect it.
Yeah, 447. So 447 millimeters. So 44 centimeters. Yeah, that's a big beastie. 960 parts, 26 sprues. That'll keep you busy over the winter. Full drive trains. Lots of photo etch. A little bit of photo etch. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Wow. I saw that and I thought of you.
Yeah, you know me.
I know you. It's got rockets.
Sucker for launchers.
I know. I had to put that one in just for you. Oh yes, and then we're going to talk about the Belcher bits, which I don't have a link for. Why don't you talk about that, Jeff? Since they obviously shamelessly looked at your kit and said, "Okay, he's finished it. Let's release something commercially."
I do not think so, but I do think Mike Belcher is kind of like a known saint in the industry in Canada for all the stuff he's done over the years for Canadian subjects. And he's put together a sort of a conversion set to add the Avro Era Orinda engine pod to the back of a B-47, Hasegawa B-47 in 1/72nd scale, which happens to be what I've been working on for 3 years, and trying to write an article about it for RT, for IPMS Canada. And it's sitting here behind me, yeah, anyway, I've already got well past the part where it would be of any use to me. But for anybody else who wants to build a CL-52, Mike Belcher Bits is bringing this thing out, and there's a lot of people with a lot of interest in it. So now the rush is on for me to finish my damn article and get it off to Steve Sauvé and have it published before everybody writes their own damn article.
Well, you know what? You know what? I think it's Chris's local hobby shop, Bill's Hobby Center, that they had him on his podcast. So I think that was like a shot across the bow for you to get your article, your tailing gear. So
wake me up, and then at the same time, I got an email from Steve Sauvé, who's the editor of RT, saying, "You're writing this thing, or what's going on?"
Well, that's because he saw Bill's video.
That must have been it. Must have been it.
Exactly. See, they all knew. I also remember we had a couple of guys in the club years ago. It seemed like, and they were heavy into scratch building and stuff like that. Whenever they finished something, a major project, within 2 weeks or 2 months later, one of the manufacturers would release a mainstream kit.
Isn't that always the way?
You would hear the language. You would hear the language. I know. But that's pretty cool.
What I'll do is I'll pull a picture of the of my current work in progress, and you can stick it on as being what's on my bench.
Well, you know what? We did point out something. You at least added some engine detail.
Oh yeah, I added a full engine.
Yeah, where his doesn't. So I still think there's a marketing opportunity for you there. With some of the guys we have in the club with 3D printers and that. I'm just saying.
Made that engine. I'm old school. I made that engine out of this, a highlighter.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Nope. True. The way to do it. Exactly. So, wow. All right. We will move on now to ScaleMate's new kit releases. So this is full kits, new tools. This is from November 28th, because I do have people that say, please let us know what date you're doing this on so we can find it. So look at this. We have a Percival E-2H Mew Gowl. Mughal. Sorry, you're absolutely right. I'm having fun. I'm just gonna we're gonna call this trying not to wind up Jeff by speaking a slightly different language. I am. This is a neat looking thing. Never heard of it.
Like it. It's like a racing plane, I think.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But very cool, very streamlined.
It's a trainer, wasn't it? No, that one wasn't. The Percival was a trainer, but this is a racer. Yeah.
Also in the Pacific vein, looks like Academy's releasing an A6M2B, the Model 21 from the Battle of Midway. As they say, it's a new tool.
I think I've seen it out. I've seen someone somewhere with a box of it. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
So it might be already out. I'm not sure.
Awesome. Yeah, these are just when they're added to the ScaleMates database. If we keep going here, what else do we got here? Avant-Garde has an MI Hip 148, the early model. Here we go. Zookeepers and White Rhino set, 135th.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one. There you go.
Continuing that line. That's great.
That's what they do. What's next? Beaver Corporation, GB engine starting car with the figure. Okay. So the engine start for certain with these Japanese planes, I guess.
Looks like.
Yeah. So like a power cart, but instead of power truck.
Yep. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Please speak up if anything else that catches your eye as I go through here. A couple of Zvezdas, a Yak 40, and a Tupolev 95.
Look at these Games Workshop.
Yeah, the new Necromunda stuff. That's kind of cool. The tank refueling center. Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of these things in plastic now that were metal or resin before.
Yeah, their molding's fantastic.
Much nicer.
Yeah.
I might want to try one of those just for the sheer fun of painting.
They're fun. They're an absolute joy to put together, and you can paint them however you want. And they're just they're a whole lot of fun. Okay, a bunch of Russian fire trucks further down under November 25th.
Oh yeah, and 43rd scale, a whole ton of stuff.
ABD. Yep, total ton of stuff they've announced.
For any of you guys. Any of our listeners who are members of IPMS Canada, the latest Beaver Tales, which is the electronic membership little newsletter thing, there's an article in there, and I can't remember the fellow who did it, but he did a great job of it. It's a Russian sort of Antarctic exploration vehicle,
right,
from the 50s, and 70s, and I saw these and I immediately thought, wait a second, that kind of looks sort of like, except that one was fully tank based. So,
right. Here's something else. The Curtiss SC-1 Seahawk. You just don't seem to see as much of the U.S. Navy seaplanes until recently.
That has been well underdone. I know. Cinefair has a 48 scale Seahawk. I've got two of those. If somebody wants one, bought it for cheap. And all of these observation planes like that. Well, the Seagull was used through the war, eventually replaced by the Seahawk, and occasionally on some of those with a good Kingfisher, but we don't have a good 48 scale Kingfisher either.
Right. Nope.
You have a very old one.
Shaking his head.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, there's another area because we see a lot of, I know Mike from Kentucky. Mike, he likes seaplanes. And,
they're very underserved. The catapult planes, the Japanese Hasegawa did the Pete's and the what was the other
Dave?
one?
Was it Dave?
Dave, yes.
Dave? Okay.
Maybe I'll build that instead.
You always build more than one. I'm just saying. Terry.
Yes. Well, so they released those, but the American ones, and I'm sure the Brits and Italians and such as well.
Oh, excellent.
Underserved.
Yeah, so something to model kit manufacturers, listen up. November 19th, a bunch of cool sci-fi stuff. I know we mentioned this on the build night last week. So Arma models, this is the Russian Arma models. They've got a Soyuz spacecraft in 1-144, Nebulon EF-26 Nebulon B, and Hammerhead Corvette from 1/2700th from
the Blockade
Star
Runner
Wars
as well. All on this 2700 scale. Is it for a game system, maybe?
I think it's a popular scale for these larger ships. Yeah, and it could be for a game system as well. But yeah, the spacecraft are cool. What else here? Anything else? The M8. Tamiya's coming out with it's Hasegawa, a Yamaha RZ250 from 1980, a new tool of that. The Imperial Shuttle. That's a digital file.
Yeah.
It's interesting how many more now you're seeing, they mark this now with the flag, digital 3D data file.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing a lot more of that. Oh, and of course, fantastic plastic there. Classic rocket ship series from November 16th, the T013. This is number 9, 1:288 scale. So always kind of cool. Well, now the one we were talking about too is from November 15th, fantastic plastic. They've released in 1/200 scale, the Pathfinder, the atomic-powered space shuttle from this Apple TV series For All Mankind. It never occurred to me until I saw the picture that it's got no tail. It's got a little tiny stumpy thing for a tail. Like, no, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, but the winglets aren't winglets; they're taillets.
Yeah, but I just, but like, look, it looks like they basically, if you look at the screenshot of the boop of the box art, it looks like they put in the wrong scale. Like a 1/350 shuttle tail.
So you're saying in the real world, this actually might not work?
God, who knows?
Who knows?
You know what? I watched a bit of this series and the idea is great, but I get depressed because I start thinking about what could have happened, what could have been. And just, you just start, it depresses me sometimes. I want my flying cars, damn it. But these days, with the amount of people, on their phones in the car and that, do I really want that?
If you had a flying car, you'd be dead within a week.
Oh, yep. Between me or someone else, exactly. That's the problem. So, all right, anything else catches someone's eye? Anything else out there that's new? Anyone want to talk about?
Well, I'm waiting very patiently for that Great Wall Hobby A10. I think that's something that's very much in need. Fingers crossed that it's a good kit and worthy of taking over the mantle from I don't even know anyone who's out there that
from Monogram, really, for the A series.
Yeah,
so it's very tasty.
Yeah,
that was a bad face, Chris. Bad face. Monogram.
Well, I mean, it's just raised lines.
For its time, yeah. Exactly. So
Italy's C. Do you know if they're doing the C or the A? Great Wall.
I honestly don't know. I'll take either. I'm happy with either.
There you go.
So between that and the HK models 48 scale B25J. Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit, and we'll take a brief break from our good friends at Cult TV Man. So here we go. Let's talk about the latest news from our good friends at Cult TV Man. Lots of interesting news towards the end of the year. Round 2 is continuing their Star Wars issues. They've announced quite a few kits, just no specifics when they're going to come. X Plus has announced more. The Fly from Monarch is in production. They don't have any updates currently on any upcoming Mobius products. And Bandai has not announced any more Star Wars kits on the date I'm recording this. But lots of goodies available now from the CultTVManShop.com. The reissue from MPC Round 2 of the Monkey Mobile. The band The Monkees, remember them? You have the 125th version of that. Anakin's Pod Racer from the Phantom Menace from Round 2 AMT, also available. And then the Galileo Shuttle, both the interior and the complete kit, 1/32 scale from Polar Lights. Those are now in stock, available to purchase. Definitely check those out. Lots of exciting pre-orders, including the Creature of the Black Lagoon, the 1/8 scale from Aurora, the TIE Fighter Studio Series, 1/32 scale. That's going to be a big kit from Star Wars, of course. And, of course, they're getting some more perfect grade Millennium Falcons from Bandai. What else do we have here? Oh, the Enterprise C 1/1400 scale from A&T. That's a 2022 release. You can get that for a really good deal as well. So as always, lots of amazing deals. Check them out at culttvman.com, culttvmanshop.com, and let them know the Scale Model Podcast sent you. Okay, as you can see, a great sale they're going to have. They had a great sale over, Black Monday, Black Friday, whatever, but still a lot of good new things. Definitely check them out. Okay, now it's time for the Celebrity Roast. Oh, we didn't tell them about that, did we? we missed that. Chris, you've been on. Last time you were on the show was episode 85, quite a while ago. You've written a lot since then, posted a lot since then. What's new and exciting with the model Airplane Maker, other than seeing you on a few other podcasts?
Oh, new and exciting. Well, I just finished the, I guess, very well known Revell SR71, the new mold SR71 Blackbird. That took, over the course of the summer that I did it, but I really wanted to concentrate on painting it, and I really wanted to get it to have that used in-service look. So finally put that one to bed and put a video out on that. Aside from those two things, or that thing, I'm just getting ready for the group build, which I'm going to have a nice little Corsair that I'm going to do as an Okinawa Corsair. And on a personal note, that's the plane that really got me interested in Corsairs in the first place, and actually even getting back into models. So little backstory behind this particular one. The pilot of this particular Corsair was on patrol over the island and was vectored at a very high level to intercept a Dyna. And he and his wingman had to lose half their ammunition to get up to that level. And in doing so, unfortunately, the guns froze. So when the moment of truth came, he made the perfect intercept. Nothing happened. So being a Marine and not taking any of that as a conclusion, he decided the next best thing to do is to use his prop to start chopping away at the Dyna, which he did. And then he dead stick the thing all the way back and landed it. And there we go. And so, you have to think with a story like that, you gotta be interested in just what type of person would do that sort of thing and what kind of plane that this person flew. And that's what really got me into Corsairs. So I'm going to be building that for the Pacific group build.
Wings folded or open?
Open.
Yeah, I built the one with folded, and it was challenging, but it was, like I said, it was a fun build. I built that same kit quite a while ago. The other thing I want to point out too is for listeners is, you want some great advice and well illustrated and all that. Check out some of Chris's blog posts. You had the more recent one about the one titled "Jet Engines Aren't Silver," where you go into details about painting the engines on the SR71, and this is great. You go step by step, and I'm kind of watching it and going through and, okay, why the heck is he using dust and all that? And then you see a little bit later on, yeah, it works. As he says there, see, there's no silver. This is coppery gold, pale orange, greenish gray, and a pale pink, but no silver. And you said you came pretty close. You came pretty well right on, and you've got your YouTube video to prove it. And just, great tips and advice, both modeling tips and good general stuff about the hobby. And this is what I love. I always love when I see a notification. The other good one I bookmark is the tips and tricks for jet cockpits when you were working on the Tamiya F-14. Just, fantastic job. Again, great detailing. You're one of the reasons I want to start expanding our YouTube a bit, and I'm doing unboxing videos on my own channel. Just really, really cool. And you get out to the shows and the contests, and you basically have a lot of fun with the hobby.
Well, I don't see why you can't, and I think that's sort of the whole reason why we're doing this, and that's why I'm happy to come on your show with Jeff and Terry, because I think that there's a good alignment in how we view this whole thing and what we're trying to do in terms of enjoying the hobby and having other people and sharing that as well. So that's why I started the channel. That's why I started the blog. Now, of course, if on my blog things can get a little whimsical. Things can get a little tongue-in-cheek at times, and that's not everyone's cup of tea, but as I've said to other people, if you're interested in reading blog posts that's, starts with construction started with the cockpit, I'm probably not for you. If you're looking for some commentary of the situation we find ourselves in today, and maybe some looking back and some poking gentle fun at things, well, look no further. That's what I do. So hopefully people can find me and enjoy it, and let me know and reach out, because I really enjoy hearing from people, for sure.
Yeah, just like we do as well. The other thing is, we're excited to say that Chris has already booked his room for HeritageCon next March 2023. We'll be there as well, and he's going to be joining us for some show coverage and commentary and stuff like that for the show. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. Anything else you want to say? So what else you've been working on? You talked about what your next one's going to be. Anything else down the pipe that you're seeing coming up that you say, I got to have it?
Definitely that A10.
Right.
I'm thinking of doing a series of Corsairs in the coming year. So the one thing that I've noticed in terms of books that I have, or books that I've read, is they really focus on either, and which isn't to, I don't want to criticize anybody by saying this. It's just, you either have what I call the numbers history, so like unit numbers and squadron numbers and all this sort of thing. Let's go through all the numbers and dates and where they were. So you have that type of history book, and then you have like the other ones which are mostly drawings or pictures and drawings and that type of thing. And what I was really trying to find out recently is, okay, what are these things actually doing? Like, where were they? Why were they doing it? And what were they actually doing? And so this year I'm thinking of putting together just a look at about 3 or 4 Corsairs. And I'm going to have them throughout the war and really concentrate on exactly what these things were doing and why they were doing it. So it's not just about units and locations, and it's not just about here's the paint, here's the painting scheme. It's really coming to understand how these things were used. And I don't me, right? It's not going to get down to like the nitty gritty of 200-page dissertations of the Battle of Bougainville. This is going to be more high level, but it's going to actually maybe explain a little bit more for people who are just sort of casually interested in these things along with it. Because that's really what my big angle is in with this hobby, aside from the pure enjoyment of it, is I love the history side too. And I really involved with it. So for example, when you brought up the Yamamoto interception, and that's a huge story, which is amazing to me that it's not more widespread, because it's quite the story, especially how they were able to do it under that time crunch and be at the right place at the right time after 2 hours of flying directly over the ocean using nothing but a stopwatch and a very good compass. It's incredible. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going too far into it. All I'm saying is over the year, I think I'm going to explore and do a lot more detailed work on Corsairs. That's what I'm thinking of doing.
Very cool. No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing that. So, all right. We always asked you, I think we asked you, 20-something episodes again, where do you think the hobby is going to be in 5 to 10 years?
Well,
any predictions?
It's not dying. No. Far from it. I think it's going to be. I think we're just going to see some amazing stuff. That border Lancaster with the oil canning. I'm really thinking that's going to translate down to lower or lower scales. I think we're going to see a lot more of that stuff, but I think we're going to have to bring our wallets to enjoy it. That's the other side of this thing, and it's really catering to that type of market. I think that the lower end is going to kind of maybe not be what it was, and it's really going to cater to someone who's going to drop a few $100s for a scale model or something.
Mm-hmm. And I think what else can happen is, particularly the smaller companies, they don't have to do massive runs to make money. They can charge a premium price, do a little bit more. You were mentioning about the oil can skinning. We covered the Hong Kong models A20 release in 1/32 last show. Yeah. And perfect example there. You're seeing it there. You're seeing the molds on that, and just, some amazing stuff there.
Well, it's, I think people we demand that more, and frankly, the technology is caught up to the point where they can do that. If you're doing a lot of this by hand, there's no way you're doing that.
Yeah,
especially on something of a smaller scale like 48th. But now it certainly can be done.
Yep. Agreed. So I think it's really cool. So as you prepare for your Corsair for the group build in a couple of days, what's anything on the bench right now?
I am just I've just started let me get the thing right here. This is that one I was talking about earlier from Ukraine. And I've never heard of this company before, but it's called AMP. I'll just hold it up here for you.
Oh, I love it.
It's something called a dinosaur, and it's an X20 dinosaur, and it seems to me it was some sort of some sort of dinosaur era shuttle that never got off the ground. So I think it was some sort of recyclable.
It was the U.S. Air Force. It was a U.S. Air Force program for the 1960s.
Yeah, do some reading on that. You'll. It's another one of those programs that should have developed into something.
Yeah,
but no one wanted to actually make it happen.
Yeah, I think you'll have fun with that. You could do some fun what ifs.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of doing a quick history and a build on this one. So nothing too detailed in terms of length, but just sort of a history and a build. I just picked this thing. I saw it online, and I couldn't not have it. I had to have this thing. It was just
That's the way it works. Yeah, check the Wikipedia article. That's a good first step. Right. There's a lot of good. The Wikipedia article is very well written. I remember looking that up a while ago. That's the kind of thing Jeff's into too. So
I was just going to say that would show up on my shelf in a heartbeat.
And I'll tell you, these guys at AMP, these guys and girls at AMP. My heart goes out to them, and they made this happen during probably one of the worst times of their lives, and they did it. Yeah. And I was, to this day, I'm still kind of shocked that it happened, but it did. So if you have a chance, check them out and see if there's something on their website that you like.
Cool. Very good. All right. Speaking of things that we like, we also like Sean's Custom Model Tools. He's always got a lot of cool things, and I'm sure he's going to be back at Heritage Con too. Let's see what's happening with him now in this ad. Now we're going to talk a bit about Sean's Custom Model Tools, one of our other sponsors of the Scale Model Podcast. Some very cool things, both 3D printed and the Goodman Super Sanding Blocks. Let's start with the Microset and Microsole decal set bottle stand. This is purposely designed for the microscale set and sole. Most modelers over the years, they've tipped these bottles over. So this is a very handy thing. At $14.95, you can put them both together. They're printed in blue and red for easy identification. Comes with a black base, and they actually have little magnets on it, so it helps keeps them in place. Definitely a good deal. I use mine all the time, and I can well recommend them. Let's talk a bit about those Goodman Model Super Sanding Blocks, namely the Value Pack Combo for $28.99. You get the 80 grit, 180 grit, 220, 320, 400, and 600. Just an amazing set, just what you need. And you can also, if you want, you can also get a super sanding block stand for it, which also really makes life a little bit easier, helps things keep it organized. The other thing too is they have the awesome model tape dispenser for your various tapes. It's basically a 3D printed thing. You put spools of your tapes. It's got a little razor blade to help cut it, and it's really, really good design. So yeah, works out really well, and yours for $19.95. So check out these and other amazing deals at Sean'sCustomModelTools.com, and also on Facebook, and tell them that the Scale Model Podcast sent you. All right, we're back. What's on the bench? So I am finishing the Bandai X-Wing. This is a cute little kit in 1:144. I did an unboxing for it on the Blackfire channel. I'll post a link to it as well. Nice little kit, as usual. Bandai, it just falls together. I came up with a semi-successful brainwave. Oh, there we go. Jeff's showing one off there. The only thing about that kit is it has stickers instead of decals. And
mine
I wasn't
had
relishing. Yeah, mine didn't.
Mine had both. Yeah.
Well, lucky you.
Yeah, so there you go.
There you go. La-di-da-di-da. Mine had stickers only. But what I thought about is I said, well, for some of these, if I just peel away the sticker, it's got the little mask frame around it. Why not try that? So I threw it on the wings for that. I wanted to do something different, so I put some Tamiya purple on it. It worked actually really well. Once I had the wings assembled, went on to the fuselage. Didn't work as well on the fuselage striping, so I had to sand that away because it was a bit of a mess, repaint, and I'm going to try just traditional masking. But again, nice little kit, nice and easy. I've got 3 or 4 of them. Great little kit. So next up, of course, you've been hearing us talk about it, the Let's Go Pacific Model Airplane Maker Group build. I've got this 148th Tamiya Bowfighter. It was originally a white box kit, looking absolutely gorgeous. I've got some decals from a Mike Hill from the club. It's going to be an RAAF scheme, and I am just so pumped to get back into Commonwealth 48 scale aircraft. I feel like I've been gone from it way, way, way too long. So looking forward to that. All right, Jeff, you've been doing some non-hobby stuff. You've been the good husband again.
Yeah. Well, we've talked a bit about this in the last couple of shows that my wife needed a better sewing and a place where she could do her sewing and leave it. Like I can leave my models. I love it. You just leave it, walk away, come back. Everything's where you left it. She was kind of temporarily setting up in different places, and that wears thin very quickly. So I've added another bedroom downstairs in the lower level, and it's going to be her sewing room / guest bedroom number 7 or whatever the hell it is. I have no idea, but it's convenient when all of the kids come back, which they'll be doing this Christmas. So that'll be useful, but that's taken up a lot of my time. But in the meantime, I've also been trying to finish this guy, which is the Bacom Natter.
Very nice.
This represents the first manned quote vertical rocket launch, and the pilot survived about 6 seconds. Very, very successful situation. Anyway, it's kind of been a challenging build, and I hope to have it finished, within a couple of weeks. But that's about
That's
it.
That's good. Yeah, because you're just some scratch building.
As we were saying, going back to it, I've got to get my CL52 finished before everybody gets swamped with Belcher bit models of
B-40. Yeah. Yep. Remember, you don't want to annoy IPMS Canada.
No, I don't.
They have friends everywhere. They have their long links. They have contacts all over the world.
Yep. There's motivation.
I have 2 half-written articles. I mean, and actually, I reread them, and I kind of like them. It's my style anyway.
I think you'll do well. You'll do well. No, they always look.
One is for this guy right behind me, the Discovery.
Yeah. So there you go.
2001. So
yeah. So you gotta get that built. All right. Yep. Chris, what about you, sir?
In terms of, sorry.
Well, you got your what's on the bench. You recently finished your
told us.
Huge. I know you more or less told us, but he's got the review there. A nice picture of the group build. So basically what you've already told us, right?
Yeah. I can only do so much, Stu.
I know, that's all right, man. That's all right. But no, I do recommend people check out his build articles on the Revell SR71. You'll get a good education there. Okay, Mr.
If you ever have to paint a black, quote unquote black aircraft or a dark colored aircraft, because I thought Chris, you did a fantastic job with that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
because that finish it's such oxidized metal that it's kind of tricky to do.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, Terry, and don't forget, you got to mention your Canadair Sabre, because I have one of those too.
Oh, yeah, I picked up the Canadair Sabre, and I put it online there, and got plenty of feedback from several people on Facebook about the kit, and feedback from Tom Cleaver, who sent me some rather not great information about it. And then he sent me another one. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
it just needs a cockpit.
Okay. Yeah.
But apparently, it can't be built closed up. Really, it's meant to be built with all those panels open.
Yeah,
they don't fit if you, take them apart and put them in. They don't really fit. I was going to build it as a gate guard.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm not. So,
well, I think you'll have fun with it because I have it, and I'm gonna get some above and below decals.
I have plans for this thing.
Yeah.
So that was an impulse buy at the hobby shop. I was actually hoping they had the Buccaneer.
You only went in for paint, right?
Yeah, and this little place is great over here in Itasca. It's got like all the Tamiya, all the new what from Revell, the Revell, the
all the
AV.
new stuff.
It's got it's one of the few places that carries Alclad, like the entire line of Alclad.
Wow.
So it's one of these old school hobby model toy railroad shops. Everything is stuffed from the floor to you need a step stool.
I miss those
stuff.
Those are the best kind, right there.
Yeah.
I should take a video of it sometime. It's unbelievable. What else am I doing? I picked up at Hobby Town where we have our meetings. A little
drop ship.
It's a carrier. It's a mech carrier. I didn't get the mech. I have to get the mech. I don't know. My buddy Neil built one of these, painted up really nicely. There's some.
Oh, very nice. Yep.
Like.
Yep. Send some pictures along of that.
I was going to do it just as a real quick Thanksgiving weekend kind of quick paint and build, but Neil convinced me to do something more challenging.
He is nothing but trouble, that Neil. You've said that before.
You can't just do that. You hate it when people just do that. It's like, you're right. I do.
Know. He's one hell of a wingman.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
But getting close to finished.
Oh, looking good.
Little P-43.
Yeah, that's the Dora one, right?
Dora Wings P-43.
Yeah, very nice.
It is.
Very nice.
It's a good 3-footer.
Yeah. Very nice.
But it'll look good in my case.
It looks good from here.
I'd say 2-footer at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a 2-footer. Yeah, and then
this is
definitely a one.
Chris, check this one out. This is beautiful.
A 1 to 2-footer is a.
Yeah, that's a beaut.
I saw you put that up on Facebook, and I was very impressed with that thing. That is really
gorgeous.
I don't think I've posted pictures on Facebook of it with the prop attached.
Oh no, I don't think you have. If you can make Heritage Con this year, Terry, please try and bring that.
I will bring them. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a showstopper right there.
I mean, when you look at, just the
yeah, I love it.
Props.
Yeah, I know. That's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. So it's turning out pretty darn good. I think I had to add a little blade antenna. You see, I just want to make it look a little more modern. So there's a blade antenna there. You probably can't see it. I put a couple little red beacon lights there.
Nice. That's going to look so good. And that's looking awesome.
It almost
the problem you're going to have is what category to put that thing in, because
this is where
if there's a hypothetical, it goes in hypothetical.
That's okay. We'll chat to Ian. That'll be part of our bribery.
A lot of the shows up this way have moved toward a gold, silver, bronze. Not a gold, silver, bronze. Yeah, a gold, silver, bronze. So an open category. So they'll just have like 48 scale or just aircraft. Right.
One other thing I noticed in the latest RT, IPMS Canada, they're not saying they're going to do it, but they're going to revisit looking at judging categories. It was in the latest RT. They're saying nothing's in stone. Don't start sending us, letter bombs and stuff like that. But there's definitely, I think it's time to open that can of worms again. For our show, which we are going to have a show in September of 2023, the Southwestern Ontario Scale Model Show. We're going to continue with traditional IPMS judging for this time, but one never knows. One never knows.
So on that Cavalier, I'm just waiting for a brass pitot tube.
Nice.
Once I install that, it'll be done.
Nice. Very nice.
Just looking at it from a distance and through the camera here, it almost looks like an F-94 starfighter with a propeller on front.
So without the prop on it, it does very much have an F-80 or an F-84 kind of look, right?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a Mustang. There's no mistaking the lines of the Mustang wing and the tail and everything.
It's gorgeous. Very nice.
It's the wingtip tanks that throw me.
It's the tip tank.
Yeah.
And Halberd Models makes the racer Mustang conversions too, like Big in the Beguine, the other ones, and they had those tip tanks. Or Big in the Beguine had like pulse jets or something on the wing, didn't it?
That would be amazing.
That'd be a case of just like I wonder if the lifespan of the pilot would be similar to Jeff's latest build.
Oh, I don't know, but they cropped down the canopy as well, so he had like a tank.
For God's sakes, do not strike a bird. No bird strikes, please. God,
not much canopy there to have a bird strike.
Yeah, that would be. So you also got some Pacific Group build choices I see here.
Yeah.
What do you got in mind? Let's see.
Since we got plenty of time, actually.
We got tons of time. Oh, there you go.
Great kit.
Yes, and the Babs. So the militarized version of it definitely fits in the Pacific War.
Yep. Very nice.
The promotional flight was 1937, but
one thing
both of them together.
One thing I love about group builds too is you learn so much by how people post and they talk about a little bit like the history and that. I know you talked about this particular aircraft before. Yeah, it's always fascinating to hear about the history and like I said, just by reading some of these books. I know the Beaufighter I'm working on, Mike Huell, I got the decals from, he lent me a book called Strike Wings, and this is all about the Beaufighter squadrons in the North Sea. And again, fascinating stuff. I heard bits and pieces, but I haven't really read a detailed account. So I'm really kind of trying to get back into my history and trying to read more about these. And I think it's really good. Yeah.
If you want a good book about the North Sea, read Bring Me Back My String Bag.
Bring Me Back My String Bag.
Right.
I don't think I'll do a Google search without putting the word history.
About it's a swordfish pilot.
I have a swordfish.
Yeah, they made them transition to some other planes, and they eventually went back to the swordfishes.
Swordfish pilot at war, 1940 to 1945. John, who wrote it here? John Godley, Lord Kilbracken. Oh,
yeah. So he, they transitioned him into Vindicators, I think, Chesapeakes. Is that what that was called? Which they actually liked a lot, but the War Department didn't, so they brought him back to the swordfish, which they used quite well.
Oh yeah, they used it, and again, it was obsolete when it went in, but it did well. It helped stop the Bismarck. So I got one from that Goodwill stash. I've got the 48 scale Tamiya with the extra rigging thing, and it's like that one scares me, but at the same time, I'm going to try and hang on to it. I'll try and build with the folded wings.
I think I've got two. I inherited one from somebody else. And
I have a second set of the rigging set. Let me know if you need it.
All right. I've seen them on the tables. I've seen them both wings open and wings folded, and they're so gorgeous.
They are. Yeah. If done well, they're done really gorgeous. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, Chris. I went to Goodwill one day, and there was literally several dozen. And what's wild is some of these kits had two kits in them. Like I'm selling some of the 72nd scale stuff, and I just opened one up, priced one out. It's 109, the Tamiya and the Hasegawa, two different 72nd scale kits in one box, like fully complete and all that. And the Swordfish had single kit, but an extra rigging set. And someone else who bought another one, he's got like 4 of these photo etch rigging sets. Like, this guy had a huge stash, a lot of different things. So yeah, it's been fun to try and sort through. And like I said, I'm selling quite a bit of the 72nd scale stuff, I think. But the 48th, that one normally is rigging, forget it. But yeah, it's got a lot of history, and I might try it. It's a bigger scale to work with, so we'll see. Yeah. It's not getting sold, so definitely.
We've had a couple of weeks here too, Jeff. As far not good stuff. Had to have our sewer line repaired. Out to the main
shower
leak, so we got that repaired. Needs to be replaced.
Solar panels.
Oh, wow.
Solar panels, yeah. So eventually we'll get our driveway put back together, and the brickwork should be done this week to replace it. Maybe it'll get turned on this week. I don't know.
Yep.
Chris is being very well-mannered. Chris is being really too well-mannered. He wants to say something, but he's not interrupting you guys. I don't care. I'm happy to interrupt.
You go ahead. Yeah, Chris, I was going to say, go ahead and speak over us. We do it all the time to each other.
I didn't want to speak over you, but I do remember you talking about that story where you walked into Goodwill. I'm very jealous. And the only other story I've ever heard similar to yours is a guy here, a local guy. He went on his bike to a value village or something like that. And it was exactly the same situation that you found yourself in. And the hilarity of it was, I think his wife had the car for the day. So he had to cycle back and forth to his house with some 50 kits, 50 tank kits in 35th scale, all of it dragon stuff, all of it really nice, but he just could not let I didn't pass him up.
I picked up about half, and then I was a nice guy and sent it out on the club page. And one of the other guys, he normally lives in St. Thomas, but I think he was teaching at the local college at the time. He shot over there and picked up the rest, and there's been a lot of dealing at the club meets since then. But yeah, just, like I said, the first thing I saw were those 248 scale Lancasters, and my jaw just dropped. And then I thought, shit, if I get these, Jeff's never going to let me, hear the end of it, because I always joke about I'd love them, but where the hell do I put them? And now I got two of the bloody things in my stash, right?
For any number of reasons, Stuart, I will never let you live that down.
I know, that's fine. I knew it was well worth it.
The funniest part of that whole story, though, was you've alluded to part of it where you sort of went on Facebook and you sent out these notes to IPMS London, the club group, Facebook group, saying, "Hey, look what I got," and a picture of your cart loaded to the brim and overflowing. And then you said, "Yeah, I've got the ones I want. There's a few left." And then within 10 minutes, Frank, who's also another member, Frank Donati, another member of the club, he posted on Facebook, said, "Don't bother. I got the rest of them."
And he's an armor guy, so he's got enough aircraft to keep him going. But he did sell me a couple, because again, there was like a Catalina. There was 2 complete kits, a PBY Catalina and 72nd. So I might try that. Yeah, the stuff I skipped was the stuff I'd already built. Other than one Tamiya Mosquito, because I love the 48 scale mosquitoes. So I have 3 of those now in the stash, and just, it's a once in a lifetime. You just, it's part of my Saturday morning routine. I'll hit the hobby shop, maybe pop into some of the Goodwills. You never know. It's normally stuff for my wife, though. I get the Spidey sense, but it's mostly yarn for my wife, or stuff, or collectible Barbies that she wants. The only thing I like to joke about, because my wife is awesome with this, I sent her a text. I said, by the way, but I did find something for her vintage Barbies. So, that's how I got away with it. On top of the cart, you'll see a little Barbie collectible case or something. That's what got me in the house.
Yeah, my wife will do that once in a while too. She'll bring something home. It's like, to me, airplane kits are good, right? Yeah.
It kinda, yeah.
I bought you a mosquito, and it's like, thanks, I've got a couple of those, but
that's all right though. Yeah,
that's not that mark, so that's a new mark for me.
Yep, exactly. No, you gotta love it. All right. Things we've seen. Click to Detail. Who had this one? Was this me?
I did. Click to Detail has some new stuff there. They're another 3D printed accessory thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. If you're a B-52 or a space shuttle person, check this out. In numerous scales for B-52s, but mostly the space shuttle looks like it's 200 scale stuff.
All right. Jeff, don't you have a space shuttle?
You know what? That's one thing I have a 1/200 Hasegawa space shuttle / Hubble Space Telescope kit.
Okay, so there you go.
I've always wanted a good big one, like a 72nd scale.
Yeah, those were re-released just recently. You should be able to see them.
I know. And our local hobby store in London has one, and I'm eyeing it. But
you're eyeing it? You want me to have a word? You want me to have a word with Richard? Should I have a word with Richard for you?
It's just
it's a project.
How many kits I still have over here that are out of camera size.
No,
yeah, and that is a project.
Yeah, that would be a big one. You guys have seen on Facebook that one the guy's been hand scribing every bloody tile.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, beautiful work. But yeah, I would go mad. I would go absolutely
I do have
mad.
the old Monogram 172nd B52 and X15 kit. So that's a good size.
Well, there you go.
That's cool.
There's an XB52 conversion set here. A lot of
That's
wheels,
designed to hang from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Think
about the grandchildren. Think about the grandchildren. You will be the cool grandfather yet again.
Yep, balls 8, man. Well. Balls 8.
Balls 8. That's right.
Exactly. And you know what? As far as great captures, like one of you may remember a few years ago, a fellow gave me a number of kits to be distributed and around, and in that pile of kits was a full set of the B52 X15 markings by I can't remember which company made them, but they're out of production now. Good luck finding them, but they're just a minute. Oh. So your balls 8 comment, Terry, bang on. It's beautiful.
Cutting edge, probably. Those were great stuff. I got a bunch of cutting edge stuff.
Probably.
Cutting edge, and it's outstanding. It's just beautiful. So I've been sort of sitting on that kit for a long time, wondering how I was going to do the markings, and now, boom, there they are.
Yep. All right, moving on. Hey, Chris, I read proceedings too, but go ahead.
Yeah, so when I was mentioning earlier that I wanted to find out what some of these Corsairs were doing, and I'm having trouble finding that, someone turned me onto this site, the USNI, and they have a magazine called Proceedings. So the link is there, and if you're interested in they have all the way up to modern day, but it's even historical articles on how things naval and marine oriented were done. This is a great little site I didn't even know this thing existed, Stuart, so I was very happy to find it.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of good stuff in there. Proceedings has been around for years, like years and years and years. So yeah, a lot of good stuff about how the modern Navy operates and stuff like this. So I'm still a bit of a U.S. Navy geek from back in the 80s, watching and reading Hunt for Red October and all that good stuff. Okay, then you have something here about the Cactus Air Force.
Yeah, I brought this one down because of that dual boxing mentioned earlier in the show notes. So this is a great article that really gives you a sort of a summary of what these Airacobras were doing in Guadalcanal. And if it doesn't get you excited for an Airacobra build, I don't know what will.
Okay. Yeah, I read it this afternoon after I looked at the show notes. That's really cool, particularly the last bit of the only thing they could do to save the base basically was to get up and keep strafing the piles of Japanese who were trying to clamber up the bridge. And that was the only weapon they had available to them.
Yeah.
It worked.
It worked very, very well. All right. Who had the next link?
I did. The National Museum of the United States Air Force has put its refurbished A1H Skyraider on display in full Sandy loadout. And you remember they had Bernie Fisher's A1E that he landed and picked up a downed fellow pilot and won the CMH for. But they didn't have an A1H on display. Now they have their A1H fully restored.
Nice.
The proud American.
All I think about is Flight of the Intruder. Sandy low lead.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. Beautiful aircraft. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, that will be on the list next time I get down there. And then you got Warbird News, a lot of photos there. Yeah.
Yes.
It's probably been at least 10 years since I've been to Dayton, to the Air Force Museum. That is one of the best museums I've ever seen. And I got to get back down there. I haven't been down there since they finished the Cold War silos.
Yeah. Oh, you got to go back. And I was there in 2018, and that was the fastest 6 hours of my life. Going.
I know.
Yeah. You need a couple of days really to appreciate it all. Exactly.
Yeah, time to do it.
All right. So in that case, we're just going to end things up. We're going to talk about. We're also sponsored by Brett and Chris at Return to Kitform, way down in Australia. Make sure you check out their web stores for all things Macross, including fantastic masks for the Valkyries and other goodies. Return the number 2 kitform.com. Just check it out. You'll start drooling if you're a Macross fan. As always, from a modeling podcast goodness, check out all those other podcasts. Even that one from way down in Kentucky, who's rumored to have bribed the judging already for Musaru Cup. Modelpodcast.com. You check us out on Facebook, our very own website. scalemodelpodcast.com, and of course YouTube, where I'm going to throw up a few more things, but I will always link to the YouTube videos from the Scale Model Podcast webpage. So do check that out. So once again, Chris from modelairplanemaker.com, we want to thank you for joining us. Always a pleasure. You're always welcome to drop by and join us.
Thank you very much, guys. Real pleasure to be here again.
Always good. We're looking forward to seeing you in March at HeritageCon. So let's do our standard out, where everyone says who they are, with Terry, of course, bringing up the rear with his standard, whatever quip he comes up with. So for the Scale Model Podcast, my name is Stuart Clark.
I'm Jeff Hyland.
Chris.
Your turn, Chris.
Your turn, Chris.
I'm Chris Wallace from Model Airplane Maker.
And I'm Terry Measley, reminding you to make your choice and start your Pacific build.
Awesome. Look at that. Thank you, and be well.